How do you move from a 10-year marriage, a brand new corporate job, and a loving mother by your side to losing all three in a matter of months and finding yourself starting over in a completely different country just to feed your children? If we haven't met, my name is Sharon, and on this channel, I share faith-based content. If that is something that is of interest to you, then you are in the right place. Because I am living proof that even when a season of your life is completely collapsed, God can use that exact pain to redirect you to a beautiful purpose. If you're carrying the crushing, exhausting weight of your household entirely on your own, financially, emotionally, and spiritually, while your partner checks out, I know exactly what that loneliness feels like. When my ex-husband stopped providing and my mother passed away, God stripped away every human safety net I had. I was forced to make a radical choice that led me all the way to Thailand. So today I am sharing 6 biblical lessons I learned after my 10-year marriage collapsed. If you are drowning in an unsupportive relationship, grieving a massive loss, or absolutely terrified of starting over, grab a notebook, a cup of tea. God brought you to this video for a reason. So let's talk about it. Let's go back to the beginning. When my marriage started, my husband was a great person. He was working a minimum wage job, but that didn't matter because he was contributing to the relationship. We were a team, but then we had the idea to relocate to Australia. The first step was for him to complete a skills assessment, and that's when everything changed. So instead of stepping up to this new chapter, he quit his job, he started sleeping all day, staying awake all night, and coming home late. The financial burden, the kids, the household, all fell entirely on me. And this brings me to my very first lesson I wish I understood sooner: the danger of an unequal burden. In 1 Timothy 5 verse 8, the Bible tells us anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than a believer. Scripture makes it clear that marriage is a partnership of mutual support. So when a spouse willingly opts out of providing, not because they can't work, but because they choose not to, they are breaking a biblical mandate. A godly partner steps out in seasons of transition. They don't step down and leave the entire weight on your shoulders. Which leads me directly to the second lesson I learned: recognizing the warning signs of spiritual and mental slothfulness. Look at Proverbs 24:33-34. A little slumber, a little sleep, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief. So when my ex-husband began sleeping the days away and checking out of reality, I kept waiting for it to change. I thought it was just a phase, but slothfulness isn't just lack of physical energy, guys. It's a spiritual condition. You cannot force a partner to be responsible if they have chosen to fold their hands. Stop ignoring the red flags, guys, hoping that they will disappear on their own. By year 8 of my marriage, I was running on fumes. But then a glimmer of hope appeared, guys. I landed a job at a multinational company. I thought, finally, this is my breakthrough. But just 3 months later, I suddenly got fired. Yo. And the storm didn't stop there, because 6 months after losing that job, my mother passed away. My mother was my absolute rock. She was my core support system, the one who helped me with my children, the one who kept me sane. When she died, a piece of me went with her. And during all this grief without a job or a support to my kids, I had no choice but to pack up and move back to my parents' home. In that dark room, I learned lesson number 3, guys. Severe pruning often precedes divine redirection. Jesus says in John 15 verse 2, every branch that does not bear fruit he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. So when you lose a corporate job, a parent, and your stability all at once, it feels like God has abandoned you. But looking back, I realized God was stripping away every toxic dependency in my life. He allowed the things I relied on to be removed so that I could be forced to look directly at Him and step into a radical new direction. And that leads me to lesson number 4, guys. God is your ultimate provider. When earthly supports fail, Psalms 27:10 promises that though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. My mother was my support, and my husband was supposed to be my provider. When both were gone, I felt completely exposed. But God proved to me that when every human safety net is ripped away, He will build a completely new path to sustain me and my children. Humans can fail you, but God's provision never ever runs dry. Now, this is where the story takes an unbelievable turn, guys. While I was grieving my mother, living back at my parents' house with no job, my ex-husband had the audacity to move back in with us. He stayed for a couple of weeks, but then I had to ask him to move out. Why? Because according to our cultural norms, it was shameful for a man to live in his wife's parents' house. And from that point on, our marriage completely disintegrated. He rarely visited and he provided zero financial help. So this taught me lesson number 5, guys. Wisdom requires boundaries over cultural expectation. Proverbs 4:23 tells us, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. A man who operates in true biblical manhood cares more about protecting his family. I had to learn the hard way that you cannot maintain a relationship with someone who is not willing to pull their weight in supporting you or the relationship. You must guard your peace and guard your children. With a husband who refused to visit or support us, and children who needed to be fed, I realized that nobody was coming to save us. I had to make a choice, and that choice meant leaving everything I knew behind and moving across to Thailand just to survive financially. And it was terrifying, guys. It was heavy, but it was a necessary step I had to take. And my 6th and final lesson: walking away in faith is the only way forward. In Amos 3:3, the Bible asks a powerful question: do two work together unless they have agreed to do so? You cannot work in agreement with a person who refuses to move forward. My ex-husband had already abandoned the marriage spiritually, emotionally, and financially long before I physically left. Choosing to pack up and move to Thailand wasn't just me giving up on my marriage, it was an act of fierce maternal faith. It was me choosing life, purpose, and a provision for my children over a dead relationship. So if you're sitting there in the wreckage of a collapsed marriage right now, or if you're grieving a massive loss, I want you to look at me. Your story is not over. The pruning hurts, but the harvest is coming. God can take you from the lowest place of despair and plant you in a land of dynamic abundance if you just trust His redirection. Thank you guys so much for sitting with me today and listening to my story. If this message resonated with you, please hit the like button, leave a comment below sharing your own journey of faith, and subscribe to my channel, guys. Now, I know you might be wondering, Sharon, how on earth did you manage to pack up your life and move to Thailand as a grieving single mother? In my next video, I'm going to share that entire story, the miracles and the challenges I faced, and exactly how God rebuilt my life from scratch in a foreign land. You don't want to miss it. I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless you. Bye.